Public Administration. Phase 1. Politics Administration Dichotomy 1887 to 1926. Woodrow Wilson's essay, The Study of Administration in the Political Science Quarterly in 1887 laid the foundation for an independent study of public administration. Wilson believed that politics is concerned with policy making and administration is concerned with the implementation of policy decisions. This led to a demand for separation between politics and administration, which led to the evolution of public administration as an independent discipline. Hence, Wilson is regarded as the father of public administration. Wilson's thoughts were echoed by Frank J. Goodnow in his book Politics and Administration, A Study in Government in 1900. He stood for the promotion of public administration as an independent discipline because, for him, politics had to do with policies or political decisions, whereas administration had to do with execution or implementation of policies or political decisions. Thus, he made a functional distinction between politics and administration. Public administration was recognized as a separate discipline in the beginning of the 20th century at American universities. In 1911, the first school of public administration was established. L.D. White's Introduction to the Study of Public Administration, published in 1926, was the first textbook on this subject. This book gave academic legitimacy to the dichotomy between politics and administration. Phase 2, Principles of Administration, 1927 to 1937. W. F. Willoughby's book, Principles of Public Administration, published in the year 1927, became the second textbook in the field of public administration. It was proposed that a set of principles would be developed to work in any administrative setting regardless of culture, sector, function, environment, mission, or institutional framework to increase efficiency and economy. The other important publications reflecting the principles approach to administration are Frederick Taylor's book Principles of Scientific Management, 1911, identified 4 principles to enhance efficiency. Henry Fayol's General and Industrial Management, 1916, identified the principles for better outcomes from administration. Mary Parker Paulett's Creative Experience, 1928. And Mooney Riley's Principles of Organization, 1939, identified 4 principles for increasing administrative efficiency. Gulick and Urwick's papers on the Science of Administration, 1937, identified 7 principles of administration to govern any kind of organization. Thus, the principles of administration put forward by thinkers secure universal validity and relevance irrespective of the nature and context of work. thus giving a scientific dimension to the study of public administration. In this phase, public aspect of administration was dropped and focus was on efficiency. It was also observed that a new discipline of management was emerging. This phase saw the golden age in the history of public administration. Public administration reached its zenith and attained a high degree of respectability as a separate discipline. Phase 3, Era of Challenges, 1938 to 1947. The classical or mechanistic view of administration was challenged by thinkers from two perspectives. First, the dichotomy between politics and public administration was not possible. This was presented by thinkers through articles in the book Elements of Public Administration, edited by Fritz Morstein. The thinkers held the view that administration is not just concerned with implementation of policy decisions, but also policy formulation. For example, administrators not only implement policies, but also provide inputs to the executive while policy formulation. Second, the principles of administration lacked scientific validity and universal relevance. This was presented by thinkers like Elton Mayo, under whose leadership Hawthorne studies were conducted, showed that innovation of principles and its application did not lead to the improvement of production. Instead, the human component of management was important. That is, role of informal factors like the staff, the owners of the company, the managers, the work environment. This gave rise to human relations approach in an organization. Therefore, it is necessary to treat employees as human beings and acknowledge that every employee brings his unique culture, beliefs, attitude, and way of life. For example, machines and vehicles are worshipped by Hindus during Navaratri festival. When it is accepted by an organization, it shows assimilation with the employee's culture. Herbert A. Simon's Administrative Behavior, a study of decision-making process in administrative organization, 1947, criticized the principles of administration as mere proverbs. He advocated the behavioral approach to public administration to make it more scientific in nature. He advocated decision-making as an alternative to the principles approach. He believed that decision-making is the heart of administration. If decisions are not taken correctly and on time, they harm the organization's goals. Decision-making is a process where there are two steps. First one is decision and the second is its application, which has to be based on logic and psychology so that the course of action is satisfactory. For example, to eradicate terrorism from Jammu and Kashmir, Prime Minister Modi took the decision of demonetization. The result was end to printing of fake currency and stone pelting. Robert Dahl's The Science of Public Administration, Three Problems, 1947, argued that there are three problems in the scientific theory of public administration. First, the exclusion of the normative elements from administrative theory. Second, the exclusion of human aspects from the administrative theory. Third, the administrative theories are based on examples drawn from limited national and historical settings. Robert Dahl believes that public administration cannot escape the effects of social, political, and cultural environment in which it develops. Hence, he suggested cross-cultural studies. If it is ignored, then the claims of public administration as a science sounds hollow. This cross-cultural studies makes public administration a broad-based discipline which makes it possible to set up principles which is common to any organization at any given time. In the classical public administration, bureaucracy was hierarchical, which created rigidity. During wartime, due to rigidity in the system, decision-making became too difficult. Therefore, there was a need for flexibility in the system as well as human touch to bring efficiency in the system. Thus, it was an era of deflating the dichotomy and puncturing the principles of administration. Phase 4. Crisis of Identity, 1948 to 1970. Since the 1950s, scholars rejected the dichotomy and the application of universal principles in the field of public administration. Due to this, public administration suffered from identity crisis and the future looked bleak. This confusion was seen in the way thinkers reacted. For scholars like John Guss in 1950 and Roscoe Martin in 1952, accepted the relationship of public administration with politics. Their return to the fold of political science was not encouraged by political scientists. On the other hand, scholars like March and Simon in 1958 and Syrett and March in 1963 and J.D. Thomson in 1967 moved towards the administrative science. Therefore, there was confusion among scholars about what should be the subject matter of public administration. Thus, this phase was called Crisis of Identity. It was a time when many parts of the world were just out of wars and colonization. This led to creation of new independent states. Public administration was unable to solve the problems of the times. This led to return of values in public administration and cross-cultural study of administration like rise of new human relations approach, growth of comparative public administration, developmental administration, emergence of new public administration, administrative development, advocacy of public choice approach, rise of critical perspective of public administration. Thus, in this phase, it was not completely back to political science because some scholars consolidated the management outlook of public administration. Thus, they were contending for the soul of public administration, but the discipline survived the onslaught of opinions and counter opinions. Phase 5, Public Policy Perspective, 1971. Continuing, at this stage, there was effort to re-establish the discipline as an autonomous field of study. During this period, the public policy approach became the main theme of administrative analysis. Public policy is an attempt by the government to address a public issue by instituting laws, regulations, and decisions to the problem that exists. It is a policy that is made for the welfare of the people and their development. The aim was to establish social, political, economic, or personal forces which are effective in policy making. This was pointed out by theorists like Robert Dahl, Vincent Ostrom, James Wilson, and many others, thus making it interdisciplinary, which gave public administration its relevance and expanded its scope. The focus was on policy making process as well as specific public programs. The conflict between politics and administration was narrow, and so new theorists believed that administration as a problem of political theory. They emphasized the concept of administrative public policy and believed that politics is the base of administration, and emphasis on judging the administration in terms of relevance, client-based, social equity as much as in politics. This trend of public administration is known as New Public Administration. It brought democratic humanism and client orientation as well as the science perspective to public administration. In the age of globalization, the rise of information technology, e-governance, environmental issues had a deep impact on people's lives as well as every part of the system of government. As a result, its subject matter has become wider and the subject has attained its glory as an independent discipline.